It's a bit of alright, isn't it? October, 21 degrees. So for any of you that have seen the channel before, you know that I like a gas stove. I have played about with a few things recently, but I mainly come back to the gas. And the stove I've always used since I started the channel and since I started doing wild camping in general is the MSR Pocket Rocket 2. Before I bought it, I did plenty of research, looked up at reviews, and to be fair, I'm really happy with my choice. I don't think I've ever come across anything that would make me consider changing it. Not even a jet boil. But I have noticed sometimes struggles a bit in the wind. But more recently MSR have come up with a couple of alternatives. The Pocket Rocket Deluxe and the wind burner. Now the wind burner is out of my price range. I'm not paying that much for a stove. The Pocket Rocket Deluxe though, maybe a different story. So with that in mind, I'm out in the gorgeous Avon Valley to see if it's time for an upgrade. So the first two places I planned on filming this, I found out that the trails were closed for forestry, so I had to come a little bit higher than planned. Luckily enough, I brought this. Oh, that's better. So like I said earlier, my Pocket Rocket 2 can struggle a little bit in the wind, so I'm looking for alternatives. Typical for me, considering all the weather we've had in the UK lately, the one day I get a chance to get out and do this, it's not a breath of wind. But that doesn't mean I can't have a cuppa. So I think we'll start with the Pocket Rocket 2. Now, this is my go-to stove when it comes to my days out and wild camps. As I said before, I have tested the waters with alcohol and gel and everything in between, but I do keep coming back to this just because I love the control it's got. I love the fact that it's really lightweight and compact. It really packs a punch for what it is. But this thing could be a contender. Now this isn't new, I should say. This is on loan to me just for a bit of a test out, and straight off the bat you can see it's a lot bigger. The burner is huge in comparison to the Pocket Rocket 2, and it also comes with a piezo igniter, whereas with the 2 you got to bring a lighter. So I don't think boil times will be a massive issue, especially on a day like today, how calm it is. But I know that from experience, when I've seen this in use, it does generally cope a little bit better than the Pocket Rocket 2. And it's all down, if you look at this, it's a pretty flat edge along the burner. Whereas if you take a look at the Deluxe, it's got a far more prominent rim around the actual burner itself. And that does help, so they say, with the wind resistance. And as I said, from seeing it out in the field so far, I would tend to believe them. However, the big difference is price. This you can find for anywhere between 30 and 40 pounds, whereas this is more like 80. So it's double the price of the Pocket Rocket 2. Now, being twice the price, does it mean it's twice as good? I'm not sure. I think only time will tell as I use this a bit more and more in more testable conditions, whether or not you can square the difference. For now though, I am going to do a quick boil test with about 250 ml of water, just to see if on conditions like this there's any difference because of the size of the burners themselves. Let's start with old reliable. Let's start the timer. There's a reason it's called the Pocket Rocket. A minute and a half in, and we're boiling already. So now that's only 250 ml of water, and it is pretty much perfect conditions. But 90 seconds, not bad. And before we try out the Deluxe, waste not. A little fly in there. Andy Peevers is watching, I'm sorry I didn't let it cool down. Got excited. Right, so I've waited 5 minutes or so just to allow everything to cool down. I know this thing's titanium, so it does cool down pretty quickly, but let's make things fair, is it? Before you ask, I know the gas canister is massive, but it's just the first one I picked up. There's a big difference on the noise, and I think looking at the ripples of heat coming off it, the heat dispersion looks a little bit better on the Deluxe as well. And whether or not that's because of that little lip that's supposed to help with the wind resistance, I don't know, but maybe it'll be quicker. We're just coming up on a minute 30. Now that was crazy. An almost identical boil time, almost to the second, probably was to the second, with me faffing about getting lids on and starting my stopwatch, so there's nothing in that at all. So if we're just looking at boil times, is it worth twice the money? Absolutely not. But if you think about what you're getting for that money, maybe it's another story. Considering that the Deluxe has got an inbuilt piezo, so it means you haven't got to bring a lighter, albeit I know a lighter's pennies, but it's just an extra thing to put in your bag. And as I've said before, I've seen this in wind and it does generally perform better than the Pocket Rocket too, which means you could probably get away with not bringing a windshield with you. Now again, a windshield's only going to be a tenner maybe off Amazon for a cheapy one, but then you're looking at extra weight in your pack. I know we're only talking maybe 200 or 300 grams for the cheapy ones, but it does build up. So as far as weight's concerned, the Deluxe comes in at, and the Pocket Rocket 2 comes in at. So again, can you square the difference for the weight? Maybe when you put together everything, a lighter, a windbreaker, maybe it would be worth it, but only time and a few more isobars can tell on that one. For now though, I think I'll stick, but that's probably because I've already got the Pocket Rocket 2. If I was looking for a new stove altogether, I didn't have anything, I probably would end up with the Deluxe. It's got a few more features. Yeah, it's a bit more expensive, but for the size and for the weight, for the performance, I think it's probably worth it. Let me know what you think. Is there anything else out there around this sort of price range that gives you the same features and the same performance? If there is, I'll take a look. For now though, I'm going to sit here, enjoy this, and I'll see you on the next one.